Alrighty, I've got head coach Pat Hallmark with us today, coming off of a 4-1 week with a series sweep over LIU. We're looking forward to hosting Houston Christian on Tuesday, Oakland on Wednesday, and then a 4-game series against Youngstown State this weekend. Coach, if you want to start us off with an opening statement, you can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, obviously. I think when you go 4-0, it's got to be a good weekend. So bats came alive and continued to throw strikes. So hopefully we can keep it going.
Sean?
Coach, I know typically early in the season you like to have 1 or 2 weekends where you kind of do these 4-game series with a doubleheader. How do you think that benefits your team, and what do you learn from playing those 4 games against a team in a weekend early?
Mostly that's about playing games, just getting more baseball games in to more opportunities to evaluate and more opportunities for the guys to show what they can do. So that's the goal. 4 games in 2 days with the bad weather was a lot, but it's enjoyable. It's baseball, so that's the goal. And in terms of getting more games in, mission accomplished. So guys got opportunities, and now we got I guess 6 more in the next 6 days or something like that. So we'll see how the pitching's going to be thin just in terms of numbers. We just don't have a lot of pitchers, so hopefully they keep throwing strikes.
Jerry, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to follow up on your pitching. The starters in particular seem to have good outings each game that you played last weekend. Can you expand a little bit on what you saw from your starters last weekend?
Yeah, they're still throwing strikes. I know it probably gets old hearing me say that, but that's where it all starts. Literally, the game starts with the pitcher throwing the ball. So we really hope it's a strike, and we hope to keep throwing strikes, and that's what they're doing. I think I could be off by 1 or 2, but I think we walked 5 this weekend in 4 games, 5 total walks in 4 games, which any coach would love to have. So pleased with those guys. Even the bullpen, they're throwing strikes, so we need to keep doing that.
Go ahead, Riley.
Coach, we talked about it a little bit last week, just kind of following up on the injury progression with James Taussig.
Yeah, I haven't got an update today. I don't think he'll be in there tomorrow. He took a little BP this weekend, not even he didn't even go quite full speed in BP. He kind of felt it out a little bit. In other words, he wasn't just rearing back and letting the bat rip. So he's still got a little ways to go. With the cold weather, it certainly doesn't help. But yeah, I don't think he'll be ready, although I haven't got an official report yet today. But maybe I'm speaking a little bit without a report, but I don't think you'll see him tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not even certain you'll see him this weekend, but just going off how it felt during that light BP.
Go ahead, Sean.
Hayden Miller's continued to impress. Can you talk maybe about, how he kind of came on your radar and why he was the right fit for UTSA, and then what's allowed him to be so successful so quickly?
When you say came on the radar, are you talking about from recruiting, like when we
Yes, sir.
saw him?
From a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah, he was on one of the top teams in the summer. Is actually a team with Nate Hodge, coached by Nate's dad, Kevin Hodge. He was on their top team, which that organization's top team is. It's one of the top teams, not just in the state but nationally. So, everybody watches them. Every coach, every Division I coach is going to go watch that top team every year. So everybody knew about Caden. We were lucky when again, I think I mentioned last week when he decommitted from HCU when Coach Berkman left over there. We jumped in there quick. He and my son are friendly. I got a son the same age, and they know each other a little bit just from that circuit, just from playing summer ball against each other. So anyway, we jumped in there as soon as he was available, and we're fortunate that he chose us.
Jerry?
Coach, I wanted to ask about Norris McClure, and if you could just help us a little bit with his background. I know 4 years at the Division II school over in Alabama, and just kind of how that all came about, just how you got onto him, and just a little bit about his background.
Yeah, his recruiting, I guess, story is unique because he is from a 4-year Division II school, Spring Hill, I think it is, in Mobile, and he's from New Orleans. And Coach Butler kind of found him or heard about him. I think the connection was, well, first of all, Coach Butler coached at Nicholls State, so he's got some connections over in the New Orleans area. And one of those connections kind of just put in his ear, hey, there's a kid in the portal from a Division II over here that's pretty athletic. That's what jumps out at you. You know, the Division II player is a challenging recruit because you can see some big numbers from some of those guys at the plate, but I think the biggest jump from Division II to Division I is just the athletic bodies, the speed down the line, the capable defense. So sometimes you see some guys with good offensive numbers, but they don't necessarily transition athletically. But Norris is very athletic. We were very fortunate to get him over here. Yeah, because I'm not sure how he ended up at Division II, but he's athletic enough. He should have been at Division I well before he did, just because he is such a good athlete. You can see him running down the line. He gets down the line really good. In other words, he doesn't need a clean single to get a single. He can beat out the infield hits and stuff like that. Usually those guys don't slip through the cracks. Probably just small when he came out of high school is my guess. But, right. Yeah, it's a good get for us and a good get for Coach Butler.
Go ahead, Rylan.
Coach, does playing two different teams back to back in the middle of the week pose a new type of challenge for the team? What does that look like preparing for two completely different teams in the middle of the week?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's just more work, I think, kind of behind the scenes. Last night, today, even in the morning, you're just preparing for two different scouting reports, trying to get video on the pitchers we're going to face. So yeah, it's just kind of double the workload. But again, this time of year, I was okay with it. We knew when we built this schedule that this stretch here was going to be a little bit daunting, just in terms of preparation and all. But it's early in the season, so it's good. We need to play. We need to play games, and yeah, we'll be tested a little bit from a depth standpoint, especially on the mound, and a little bit offensively too with some of these injuries we have. But it's what we need. It's exactly what we need right now. So we're up for the challenge.
Go ahead, Sean.
Coach, I know you mentioned you don't feel that your team played poorly despite two early losses, but how have you seen them grow this weekend from the opening weekend?
Well, we hit better. We'll see how it plays out in the long run. I do think UTA and Baylor had better arms. LIU's velocity out of their bullpen, it wasn't huge velocity. So we did a good. You still got to hit it. It's not that easy to hit, but we did a good job of forcing them to throw us pitches up in the strike zone. And when they did, they didn't want to. They were nibbling at that outside corner and trying to keep the ball down. But we did a good job of being patient. I think we, between the hit by pitch and the walk, our on base percentage was over 400 in every game this weekend. So that's what was key for us, was just making them pitch up in the zone. And we hit a few home runs when they had to do that. So the guys did a good job.
Go ahead, Rylan.
Coach, we've discussed it in the past, and you've said that, good teams have to be able to win on the road. Over the past 2 years, you guys are 44-19 at home, 25-18 on the road, and so far this year, 4-0 at home, 1-3 on the road. How does the team go about improving on something like that? Because it's going to be crucial. You can't play every game at home. So how does the team improve on that?
Yep. That's where we're at, and that's what we're faced with right now. I think the first step to improving it is recognizing it and acknowledging it. So, that there is a problem or there is a challenge. That's what we're trying to do and talk about. Like, next couple games are at home. But I think that what you're really getting at, you might not look at it this way, but it's beating good people. And I mean pitching. So right now I'm talking specifically like us standing in the batter's box and defeating somebody on the mound who's capable and competent. In other words, they do a good job. Can we do a better job? And that gets into winning on the road. That's what's going to happen when you get on the road. Is most people play pretty good at their ballpark. So it's a challenge. First step is looking at it, facing it, figuring out, okay, we need to improve here. And then, some skill work, specifically, fouling off the tough pitch, buying yourself another pitch until they do make a mistake. That's what I don't think we did good at UTA, is we did not foul off. We didn't spoil the tough pitch. When they threw us the tough pitch, they got us out. And to be a really good offense, you got to be able to spoil the tough pitch and lay off the tough pitch until you get the better pitches to hit. So that's what we're up against, and we're going to work on it.
Go ahead, Riley.
It was a great weekend from coming from the plate. You guys got a lot of hits, scored a lot of runs. You're actually 6th in the nation in hits right now, and you're 21st in batting average. How does the team, maintain that? Is it just kind of sticking to the process, or is there something else that goes into that?
I guess it's a little bit of what I just mentioned, which is when you do face the tougher people, which it's coming. I think HCU only played 2 games this weekend, so they'll probably throw one of their weekend starters at us tomorrow. And then the first 2 guys, I don't know who Oakland has, but I know the first 2 guys for Youngstown have big velocities. One of them up to 94 and the other one up to 97. So we're about to face some good pitching, is what I'm saying. And again, to carry on what we did this weekend, the key is to spoil the tough pitch. So when the guy hits a corner with a pitch, or maybe the low and away breaking ball that's a strike, we need to be able to foul it off and spoil it and buy another pitch. And then when they throw the tough pitch that's a ball, we need to be able to take it. Again, in theory, it sounds really easy, but you get in that batter's box and you got about 0.08 of a second to make these decisions. It's not that easy. So it just gets into working hard, recognizing the issue, and then working on it, training it, and knowing that failure is part of the process, being okay with failure, all the stuff that coaches say, and persistence of mind, and persistence of attitude, not getting down, things like that. So we look forward to the challenge.
Go ahead, Jerry.
I kind of wanted to ask about 2 of your starting pitchers. Seems Zach Royce and Connor Miles have made a big improvement since last year, and I want to just kind of ask you just how they managed to get where they are right now. I mean, we just seen really confident swagger from both of them this year. How did they do it?
I think the answer is different for each. I think with Zach Royce, what you've seen from Zach is a fairly natural, steady progression from a talented high school pitcher who was a converted pitcher. So most of his high school career, I think until his senior year, Zach Royce was a catcher, and he just kept developing this arm. And so the summer before his senior year, he really took to pitching, started getting a lot of attention even from schools like us, and then also from pro scouts. But he was behind just in terms of the development to be a pitcher, right? Like any kind of off-speed pitch, the command of the fastball. He just had a good arm. And again, to Zach's credit, you've just seen a steady progress. Freshman year, he wasn't a big factor. Last year, he was the Saturday starter, which just earning that role, that's progress. To be the Saturday starter on a good team, we were a pretty good team. But his success was kind of up and down. He still didn't have a consistent breaking ball last year. And Zach's just worked. It's just work. He's steadily gotten better. Still has a good arm, and you can see it now, but he has that breaking ball with it. He went to the breaking ball Saturday. They were ready for the fastball, and he went to the breaking ball. So, you tip your hat to Zach. It's just hard work, and the talent's always been there, but he just needed time to work on and becoming a good pitcher. And it's not done. He's going to continue to get better. So the pro guys are all over him. We might not have him next year, but we'll see. But he's doing a great job. We need him to keep a level head and not get too and I don't think he will, but not look too much into the future. And then with Connor, I think with Connor is just more of a realization that this level of baseball is tough. That what he did at the JUCO level and below that wasn't going to work, where he could just throw one pitch in there, right in there. He had to develop some other pitches and command, and he's done that. We coached Connor pretty hard last year, so I want to give him some credit. He took that hard coaching and a lot of the challenges we threw at him, and he's really looked in the mirror. And again, it's only 2 games for both of them, but clearly, as you mentioned, they have improved, and they've already helped us immensely. So we look forward to them continuing to get better.
All righty. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.